What's up, you beauties? Welcome to High and White Hockey YouTube channel. And the Flyers fall tonight by a final score of 6-4 to the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm Jim Icavone. If you're catching us live on YouTube, make sure to smash the subscribe button and hit the alert so you guys never miss a show. For all the podcast listeners out there, we had an episode last night we recorded. Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcast or Spotify so you never miss the newest episodes when they drop. So, all right, let's get to the game tonight. The Flyers fall by a final score of 6-4 to the Carolina Hurricanes. And while there was offense tonight, it was sort of much of the same in terms of how the Flyers played this game stylistically. They seemed like they wanted to get out in transition a little bit more earlier in the game, and they showed flashes of that. But I think against an actual good team in Carolina, who I think came into the night 8-2, it's going to be tough to play the way that the Flyers have been playing. I thought through at least the first two periods, the Flyers were playing decently against the Hurricanes. However, Carolina kind of capitalized on their opportunities. And if the Flyers are going to play the way that they're playing, where it's going to be tough to generate offense and tough to generate goals. If you give up 3 and 4 goals to a Carolina team and you're the Flyers right now, most nights you're going to lose. Now, the Flyers did show some resolve. They came back a couple of times tonight and were able to tie the score a few times. They even tied it in the third, 4-4. However, Carolina got that late goal, and it was kind of a backbreaker. They were outshot 35-16. Alexei Kolosov, I think, gave up. So if they had 35 shots, the one was an empty netter, 30. So I think he had like 29 saves tonight on 34 shots, 35 shots on goal. I don't think he looked bad, Kolosov, but he would have liked to see him make a save or two, I think. I don't think any of the goals were specifically his fault. But yeah, it is what it is in the goalie position. So I'm not gonna, poo-poo him too much here. And we have a comment here. Vegas Woe, Lawton and Forrester looked like two seals trying to jump a beach ball on the defensive back check that collided into Kolosov. Yeah, those goals kind of happen, man. It's just unfortunate. Look, bottom line is the Flyers they're not generating offense, and when they can't play their game defensively the way that they've been doing, they're going to lose most nights. When you're giving up 35 shots a game and you're tossing Alexei Kolosov or Ivan Fedotov out there, you're going to lose. I'm sorry. Like, if you're going to give up 4 or 5 goals and you're only getting 16 shots on goal, it's sort of the same theme throughout the last week. I know that Boston and St. Louis are, they're tough teams, but Carolina is a good team, and they, in my opinion, outclassed the Flyers tonight. It was another frustrating game to watch. Let's get to some of the goals real quick here while I have these up. TK got the scoring started for the Philadelphia Flyers. I believe. All right, so Michkov comes in with this is now a patented move from Michkov. This was on the power play, I believe. The Flyers were awarded a 5v3. They were able to score on the first power play in that first period. So Michkov comes around. This is with he comes to the point, rips a shot. I think Tippett actually blocks it, and it ricochets to TK, who is able to finish that one. That's fine. Get pucks to goal. And then I like that Tippett's in front of the net. I would like to see more of that 5-on-4. Tippett's got a big body. I know he's got a shot, but a lot of people complain about him missing the net and this and that. Stick him in front of the goal. He's a big body. You would assume he's tough to move. Get him involved physically, and have TK around the net to clean up the garbage. That was well done. So I believe at that point it was a 1-0 game. We'll show the goal one more time here. Michkov, you see him coming around, and heavy shot. Puck bounces to TK. So Flyers are up 1-0 at that point. I think when Tippett scores, the game's tied at 1, or they're down 3-1. So the Flyers, Carolina was able to come back, I think, in that first period and tie the score at 1. And then in the second period, they tacked on 2 goals pretty quick there. Eric Robinson, Gloucester Catholic alum, shout out GC, uh, gave the Canes the lead, and then the name is escaping me now. Who got the second one in the period to put them up 3-1? But anyways, this is not all doom and gloom tonight. TK finished with the 4-point night, 2 goals, 2 assists, and Owen Tippett, I thought, had some jump tonight. And you see here, look, he keeps the puck in the zone, slides down the wall, and puts himself in position to rip a shot over the shoulder of Peter Kochikov and makes it a 3-2 game. So if there's anything here, a couple of guys got on the board that have had a tough time getting pucks into the opposition net so far this year. And Owen Tippett's one of those guys. We'll show this one more time because it was a pretty sweet goal. You see him slide down the boards here. He slips in behind the D, gets the pass, and rips a shot. So his second of the season. Hopefully that gets him going, man. Maybe it feels like a monkey off his back there. Flyers could certainly use his offense. And speaking of monkey off the back, Morgan Frost finally gets on the board this season. That's right, this season. And he rips a shot past Carolina Hurricanes goaltender Peter Kochikov. And look, that's sarcasm, obviously, but it doesn't matter how they go in as long as they go in. And it has to feel good to finally get it, right? You could see a little bit of relief there. I think we were all relieved to see that cross the line. But he's in a position to score a goal. He's around the blue paint, puck comes to him. Yeah, he flubs it, but it goes in. I'm not going to fault the guy for how it goes in, especially a guy that's been struggling. And Morgan Frost gets his first goal of the year. He becomes the first center on the Flyers, the only other center on the Flyers not named Sean Couturier to score a goal this season, which quite frankly is pathetic. But maybe that's the start. Maybe it's the start of something. So I'll show it one more time. There he is. He's in good position. Puck comes out to him. And hey, in order to score that goal, you have to be in the right position. So, as sarcastic as I'm being a little bit tonight, he puts himself in position to receive a pass. And that's the only reason he has that opportunity to score the goal. Now, as the game went on here, I was less impressed with the Flyers' play as we got closer towards the end of the game. I think Carolina went up 4-3. At some point in the third period, Emil Andre blew a tire, and I believe it was Aho that was able to put the Hurricanes up. If somebody can correct me. Actually, you know what? We have the internet. We have the world at our fingertips here. It was Jack Roslovic. So I think Aho originally had the breakaway, and Jack Roslovic cleaned up. That's the one that I think Vegas Woe was talking about. So the Hurricanes go up there, and look, I think it was last night on the podcast that, everyone's hyping up Andre now, and this is, he's a good player, right? But there's going to be ups and downs. So it's fun to get really high on a player because, we're excited. We haven't seen him play. He's been in the system for a handful of years now, and he's not going to be the savior for the Flyers on defense this season. It's going to be a learning season. There's going to be up and downs. And tonight was a down game. Like, we can be honest. I know he was paired with Zamula, and somebody might say, well, if you're paired with Zamula, you're due for a down game. It's fine. But in my opinion, there were two crucial plays from Andre in the third, and that was one. It led directly to a goal. And the other one was, you could argue that Kolosov kind of put him in a bad spot. Look, I don't know what I'm talking about with goalies, but I know you don't have to give up a rebound that goes all the way to the blue line. You can control that a little bit better. So that kind of put Andre in a tough spot, and he ends up getting a holding penalty there late in the third, gave Carolina, I think it negated the Flyers power play late, which was kind of a momentum killer, but a penalty nonetheless. So let's get to the tying goal, and it was the 4th point of the night for Travis Konechny, who, quite frankly, single-handedly kept the Flyers in this game with all 4 points. So here we go. Let's get to the goal. This, I believe, was a redirected pass. So yeah, Couturier backhanded pass. Originally, I thought Couturier kind of slid one past Kochikov, but upon replay, you could see TK clearly redirects this through the wickets of Kochikov and ties the game at 4. You got 10 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game. Flyers, let me see if we can see the shots on goal. 16 shots on goal there. I don't think they had too many more than that for the rest of the game. So, you need shots to score goals, and Flyers aren't generating offense. They're not generating shots. So kind of lucky to be there at 4-4. It's a shame that they couldn't sneak out a point. They stuck in it till the end. But this is the reality of where the team's at right now. We're talking about a guy in Morgan Frost scoring his first goal of the season, 13 games in. No other center has scored a goal besides Sean Couturier, and that was in one game. Flyers goaltending's in shambles, right? Kolosov looked okay, but they still gave up 5 goals, getting outshot 35-16. Clearly a work in progress for the Flyers. Let me see, what else do I have for you guys tonight? I thought I had more. All right, so we'll run down the game stats real quick, and then we'll get to the star of the game. Shots on goal, I mentioned a few times. Carolina outshot the Flyers 35-16. The Flyers even blocked 20 shots. They outblocked Carolina 20-9. So all in all, the Flyers had 25 total shots. 9 of them were blocked, so 16 on goal, while Carolina had 55 total shots, 35 making it to the net. If we're looking for positives, that's a plus. But to me, that's total domination. And Flyers did win the majority of faceoffs tonight. If we're looking for positives, they won 58.9% of faceoffs compared to Carolina's 41%. Flyers were 1 for 3 on the power play. So that's another bright spot. The power play still clicking. They did not give up a power play goal. So special teams are still kind of trucking along here. I guess that's a positive. Through 13 games this year, special teams are good. If they can start to figure things out 5-on-5, I mentioned this on a show in the past, maybe things turn around a little bit, but they look like they're a mess 5-on-5 right now. I thought tonight, what I noticed? We were talking about how Torts mentioned playing in 5s, and defensively, you could see it tonight. They're all back playing D. Offensively, in my opinion, you could clearly see a disconnect between the 2 or the 3 forwards and the defense. Like there's I noticed it more as the game went on, but there's a sizable gap. Like they're not moving up together. They're not supporting each other, moving up the ice. And maybe that's because they're so tired from defending, 75% of the game. But you could see they're just not moving up as a group. Which is a problem. It's easier to play defense against 3 guys than it is against 5 guys. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Flyers gave the puck away 14 times compared to Carolina's 5. They had 12 takeaways compared to Carolina's 4. So, yeah. The biggest discrepancy to me tonight is the shots on goal. While the Flyers scored 4 goals on 16 shots, right, which is a very good percentage. 2 of them were probably a little lucky, which is fine. You need luck sometimes. But all in all, better team won tonight. And I don't think the score was really reflective of the way that they were somewhat dominated, I would say. They kept you watching. They certainly aren't going down without a fight. But it's clear something's missing. And while maybe there's not as much of a disconnect as there was 2 weeks ago, there's certainly still a disconnect offensively and in transition. Like you saw the transition game flicker a little bit tonight, which I guess is a good sign. But it's just not enough. Zach chimes in. Flyers used up all their lucky bounces in a losing effort. Yeah, that was a frustrating one. We got Sean C. chiming in earlier here. Michkov point plus loss equals win. Yeah. One day the Flyers will have a backup goalie with a win in the NHL. Let's see. Kolosov's glove is a concern. Is it a case of breaking one in, or is he just struggling in that area? He Aaron judged a few on Saturday and had two pop out tonight, including the game-winning goal. That's a good question. Um, Maybe he needs to be broken in. They're certainly not making a big deal about that like they were for Fedotov last year. And you would think, if there was any excuse to make for him, they'd be making it. So I haven't heard. About that. Antimeo, an OG. Ant, thanks for checking in with us. Until Briere makes a move for a real center, this team will never win. It's the same old, same old. I was having a chat with somebody on the Twitter timeline. I think it was last night or even this morning. And, they were kind of saying the same thing. And it might be a while. Or, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I'm not even sure if it's going to happen this summer, to tell you the truth. I've mentioned on our podcast a bunch. The Flyers have dead cap coming off between, I think, this summer and in the next 3 years. Every year, like $5 million comes off the books or something like that. And they have draft picks all stockpiled. So to me, you can see the idea or what the plan is there. They have the ammunition for a trade, in my opinion. The picks, you have young forwards like Joel Farabee, who, in my opinion, would be the biggest trade chip. I don't know what the interest is in Bobby Brink around the league, but look, let's just be real on Bobby Brink. He can be fun offensively. He's a smaller guy, not the most fleet of foot, so 2 knocks against him right there. Not great defensively. That's an understatement. It's me being nice. So undersized, slow, doesn't play defense. And so if he's not generating offense, he's a tough guy to have on your roster, right? And look, the last, I think the 5th goal, I'm not going to specifically blame him because it was kind of a bang play, but he's watching. If you can't get the puck, take the man, take the stick. And it was just a little too easy for me. It's too easy when he's on the ice. So, and again, I get that he's not out there for defense. He's an offensive-minded guy. But for me, he's a tough guy to have on the ice when he's not generating offense because you're not getting anything else from him, quite frankly. So, I mentioned he left a bad taste in my mouth at the end of last year. He had an outstanding camp last year. He earned his way onto the roster, was putting up a few points here and there throughout the year, but kind of burned out towards the end of the year and hasn't had the same start this year that he had last year. So, there's a lot of questions about a lot of guys on this team in this 3rd year of John Tortorella, like Tyson Forster, Bobby Brink, right? Morgan Frost still. I think it's still fair to see what's going on with Morgan Frost. What is he? Is he just the 40-point guy? We'll see. But certainly a lot of questions about a lot of players. I thought Jamie Drysdale looked okay tonight. I'm not going to say good because I know what good is for Jamie Drysdale. Thought he looked all right. Zamula got back in the lineup. Not impressed again. So the thing with Zamula, right? I think he knows the right play to make, but he processes quick, but he's slow to react. Do you know what I mean? And so by the time he realizes he needs to do something or something needs to be done, it's already happening because he can't react quick enough. And I think maybe we saw that a little bit on the goal where he got stuck behind the net. He's just not fast. He's not fleet of foot. He needs to be in correct positioning on the ice. And if he's not, he's going to get burnt or beat. So, yeah, look, they're learning. They're learning about some of these guys, and they're going to have to figure things out. There's a lot of guys that have. There's too many guys right now that are question marks. I put out a tweet the other day that a lot of times players in their second year will take a step back before going forward. And Dan Knightley, who frequents the show or the chat at least, commented in, and it was, do they usually all take a step back at the same time? Which I thought was a good comment because it's kind of what's happened so far this year. Forster, Brink, Zamula, right? Cam York's hurt, obviously, but um, all these guys at the same time have started the same. They've started cold. So, yeah, not sure what the problem is. I'm not going to try to dissect it on a post-game show. Flyers lose 6-4 tonight to the Carolina Hurricanes. And let's see where they slide in the standings here. They are now dead last in the Metropolitan Division. How about that? I don't think anybody in Philadelphia predicted that the Flyers would be in dead last in the Metro at any point this year. They are a Metro Division worst minus 15 goal differential at 4-8-1. 9 points puts them behind the Islanders, who have 10. 2 points behind Pittsburgh, who have 11. Columbus Blue Jackets have 11 points in just 11 games played, so they have 2 games in hand on the Flyers. And then the separation kind of starts a little bit. Washington has 16. New York has 17. New Jersey's got 18. And the Carolina Hurricanes, the best team in the division, 9-2, have 18 points. So it's getting away early. It's getting late. It's getting late early for the Flyers. I think we can kind of push out the playoff talk. They're literally the worst team in the Eastern Conference right now. Let's check as a league. So the San Jose Sharks are the only team in the NHL that have less points than the Flyers. They have 8 through 13 games. So, hey, if we're looking for draft and we're looking for rebuild, I guess that's great. But not fun hockey to watch right now. And I think what makes it worse is we were all excited, right? Fans were excited. Michkov, Tippett has, coming off a 20-something odd goal year last year. We wanted to see guys like Forster take a step. Yeah, and I like this comment here from Kenny. 7 games to go until we can stop saying it's early. Very concerning. Deeper rebuild to come. Yeah, we'll see. There are going to have to be some changes. And I think Briere said a couple weeks ago that Tortorella is not going anywhere, right? So it's got to be players, and what players, right? So we'll talk more about that on our show next week. But yeah, I think I'll give to the end of November, and then we can start putting together like a chopping block list of guys who maybe shouldn't be here after this season, or maybe are not going to be part of this thing. So almost 25 minutes into this, guys, a bunch of people watching. I love the guys in the comments. I thank you guys for hanging out on this Tuesday night, election night. Hopefully everybody got a chance to go vote tonight and have your voice heard in this great country of the United States. I think I'm going to wrap this one up. The Flyers play next on, when is it, guys? Thursday night, unfortunately. So they're heading down to Florida. They were on their way down there tonight, made a stop in Carolina. They have the Tampa Bay and Florida trip there. So I feel like that trip's never been kind to the Flyers. They were talking on the broadcast tonight. They used to go down and maybe steal a couple games down there. But I feel like that trip's always been a trap for the Flyers. And now that Florida and Tampa Bay are both really good, just not fun. That could easily be an 0-3 trip. And we could be looking at a 4-10-1 Flyers team heading into the game Monday night against San Jose. And that could be the, I don't know, what do you guys want to call that? The what for Hagens? They'll have to make something up there. Hackett for Hagens? I don't know. But yeah, Flyers Sharks Monday. They have Tampa Bay Thursday and Florida Saturday. That's not going to be fun. So we'll wrap this one up. I'll catch you guys Hey, you know, a good comment from Sean C. Flyers took 2 of 3 from Florida last year. I see a downtrend. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the same way. They were a lot more fun to watch last year, weren't they? So yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out. We'll be back Thursday night. Once again, I'm Jim Icavone for HW Hockey. We'll see you guys then. Good night.